Hello friends, and welcome to Star Tears. Today, we honor the lives of 6 extraordinary individuals who passed away on December 2nd, 2025. Every life has a story. Every story carries influence. In this episode, we will explore the journeys and achievements of these 6 remarkable people, those who inspired generations and left lasting legacies. Let's begin with the first of these unforgettable lives. Coffey Anderson was an American country singer, songwriter, performer, and one of the most recognizable independent voices in modern country music. He was born on December 15, 1978, in the quiet town of Bangs, Texas, a place where life moved slowly. Neighbors knew each other by name, and dreams either stayed small or had to be carried with tremendous determination. Coffey grew up in a modest home. His father worked in a local prison, and his mother was a school teacher. Their home was simple, but full of discipline, kindness, and the belief that every person should work hard and treat others with respect. From a young age, Coffey felt drawn to music. At family gatherings, he would hum melodies under his breath, trying to catch rhythms he heard on the radio. He didn't grow up surrounded by professional musicians. Instead, he learned by watching how songs made people feel. When he finally picked up a guitar in college, something clicked. He discovered that music wasn't just entertainment. It was a way to connect with people, to say what was too deep for ordinary words. After graduating, Coffey made a life-changing decision. He moved to Los Angeles to pursue music. It wasn't glamorous. He worked odd jobs, lived cheaply, and performed anywhere he could: cafes, church events, small stages, even on the streets. He didn't have powerful producers behind him or famous names to open doors. What he did have was energy, sincerity, and a willingness to try again every time something didn't work out. To reach people, he began filming homemade videos and posting them online. This was long before social media fame became common. Coffey simply believed that if his songs were meant to help or inspire someone, the best way was to put them directly into the world. Slowly, his YouTube channel grew. People shared his covers, his original songs, his warm speaking voice, and his honest smile. His big break came in 2008, when he competed on Nashville Star, a national talent show for country artists. Even though he didn't win, he reached millions of viewers and proved that his independent approach could stand alongside major label performers. It opened doors, but Coffey still preferred doing things his own way. Over the years, he released multiple albums, each shaped not by corporate expectations, but by what he wanted to say. His music blended country, gospel, and pop influences, but always kept the core of who he was: a storyteller. His lyrics often touched on faith, hope, service, family, and the everyday struggles of good, hardworking people. He sang for soldiers, for parents, for the lonely, for the proud, for anyone who needed a reminder that life could still be beautiful. But Coffey wasn't just a musician, he was a giver. When tragedies struck, and especially when American service members lost their lives, he traveled, often at his own expense, to sing for grieving families. His song, Mr. Red, White, and Blue, became something deeper than a hit. It became a tribute, a comfort, a promise that their sacrifices would not be forgotten. In 2022, Coffey performed at the Grand Ole Opry. For the first time, a moment many country artists dream of, he received standing ovations not only for his voice, but for his humility and the authenticity he brought with him. For Coffey, it wasn't about fame. It was about thanking the people who supported him from the beginning. Throughout his life, he remained deeply connected to his roots. He stayed close to his community, raised his children with the same values he grew up with, and continued to speak openly about faith, kindness, and responsibility. Whether he was performing for thousands or singing in a small-town church, he treated every audience the same, with respect and gratitude. In his later years, Coffey continued to write, tour, and mentor young musicians. He embraced digital platforms, teaching others how to stay independent, how to build a career without sacrificing their identity, and how to find strength in vulnerability. He believed in 2 things above all: that music should lift people up, and that a person's character mattered more than their success. Elden Jerome Campbell was an American professional basketball player whose quiet strength and deliberate grace left an imprint on the NBA that often went unspoken but never went unnoticed. Born on July 23, 1968, in Los Angeles, California, he grew up in a world where noise was everywhere. Busy streets, loud playgrounds, sharp voices, and sharper challenges. Yet Elden himself was different. He moved softly, thought deeply, and carried a stillness that made people look twice. As a child, he grew faster than most of the kids around him. His height made him stand out, but it was his patience that truly defined him. While others rushed into things, Elden approached life like he approached basketball, observing first, absorbing everything, then acting with quiet, purposeful precision. Coaches saw something rare in him, a boy with the physical gifts of a giant and the temperament of a scholar. At Morningside High School, his natural abilities began to take shape. His long arms seemed made for blocking shots, and his calm, controlled footwork made him an anchor in the paint. Teammates often joked that he never seemed tired, never seemed rushed. But the truth was simpler. Elden understood the rhythm of the game in a way most players never mastered. He knew when to move, when to jump, when to wait. Timing was his art. This deep understanding of the game carried him to Clemson University, where he blossomed into one of the most respected defensive players in the ACC. Clemson fans remember him not for flashy dunks or loud celebrations, but for the clean, almost effortless way he shut down opponents. A shot would go up, and Elden's hand, calm, steady, impossibly long, would sweep it away. He wasn't just defending. He was rewriting the geometry of the court. In 1990, the Los Angeles Lakers drafted him in the first round. The city where he was born welcomed him back, but now he returned as a professional, stepping into the enormous legacy of the Lakers franchise. The spotlight of Los Angeles can be blinding, but Elden carried himself the same way he always had. Quietly, consistently, and with unwavering discipline. During his years with the Lakers, Elden became a cornerstone of their defense. He didn't demand attention or chase celebrity. Instead, he became the kind of player coaches rely on. The player who doesn't need praise to perform, who doesn't need a crowd to play with heart. His mid-range jumper was smooth, his post moves were reliable, and his shot blocking remained among the best in the league. Night after night, he did the work that kept teams together. In 1999, he began a new chapter with the Charlotte Hornets. There, he found a different kind of spotlight, one that valued consistency over glamour. Fans appreciated him for who he was, a silent protector of the rim, a mentor for younger players, a veteran whose example spoke louder than words. Marvin Hinton was an American blues and soul singer, a man whose voice carried the weight of memory, longing, and the unmistakable warmth of the American South. Though he never became a household name like some of his contemporaries, those who knew his music understood that Marvin was one of those rare artists whose songs came not from ambition, but from the marrow of lived experience. He was born in a small town in Mississippi, where the air was thick with humidity, the smell of pine trees, and the distant hum of gospel choirs drifting from wooden church houses. Music was everywhere, in the footsteps on dusty roads, in the clatter of trains passing through town, in the laughter and the sorrow of everyday people. Marvin absorbed all of it without even trying. It was simply part of him. As a child, he didn't speak much, but he sang constantly. His mother often joked that he learned melodies before he learned sentences. His voice had an old soul from the very beginning, rich, smoky, and tinged with something indescribably tender. By the time he was a teenager, he was performing at school events, church gatherings, and local juke joints where the nights were long. The air smelled of whiskey, and the stage lights were both thrilling and unforgiving. Marvin's first real break came when he left Mississippi for Memphis. The city embraced him, not because he demanded attention, but because he carried in his voice something real, something that felt like home to anyone who had ever loved, lost, or listened deeply. He worked odd jobs by day and performed in cramped bars by night, slowly building a reputation as a singer who could silence a noisy room with just a single note. His style blended blues, soul, and a touch of gospel, a mixture that felt effortless because it was simply who he was. When he sang about heartbreak, it sounded like the truth. When he sang about hope, it felt earned. People believed him, and in music, belief is everything. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, Marvin had become a respected studio vocalist. He lent his voice to background harmonies, demo recordings, and live sessions for better-known artists. His work didn't always appear in the spotlight, but musicians and producers admired him deeply. They called him the backbone voice, the kind of singer who could lift any track without overshadowing the person in front. Despite his talent, Marvin never chased fame aggressively. He preferred small venues, intimate crowds, and performances where he could feel the heartbeat of the room. He said that big stages made him feel distant from the music. And Marvin was never a man who tolerated distance. He poured himself fully into every lyric, every breath, every song. Outside of music, he was known as a gentle, thoughtful man. He loved slow mornings, quiet bookstores, and long conversations with strangers who quickly became friends. He mentored young musicians, reminding them to sing from truth rather than perfection. Margaret Jane Wray was an American soprano, celebrated for her commanding voice, her rich, dramatic presence, and her unforgettable interpretations of Wagnerian roles. She was one of those rare singers whose artistry seemed to rise not just from training, but from the deepest layers of emotion and experience. She was born in the American Midwest, in a quiet town where music wasn't a luxury. It was a comfort, a ritual, a way of weaving meaning into ordinary days. Margaret grew up in a household where her mother hummed lullabies while cooking, and her father played old classical records on Sunday mornings. As soon as she could speak, she began to sing. Her voice was small then, but clear, bright, and full of promise. Teachers noticed her talent early. While other children sang shyly, Margaret sang as if she already understood something about longing and beauty. When she was a teenager, a choir director encouraged her to study opera. A suggestion that felt terrifying at first, then strangely right. Margaret didn't come from the world of opera, but she felt drawn to it, as if the great sweeping arias were calling her personally. She earned a scholarship to a major conservatory, where her vocal gifts quickly set her apart. Her voice grew into something extraordinary, warm, powerful, steady as a pillar yet capable of breathtaking tenderness. She possessed that rare combination. The strength to soar over a full orchestra and the sensitivity to draw listeners into the smallest emotional nuance. Her professional debut came earlier than she expected. A conductor, hearing her in a rehearsal, pulled her aside and asked her to cover a role, and then, when circumstances changed, to sing it herself. Margaret stepped onto the stage trembling, but once the lights rose, she found herself transformed. The theater became a world where she felt entirely alive. From that moment, her career unfolded like a story written for her. She became admired for her portrayals of Wagnerian heroines, roles that required both vocal stamina and emotional depth. Audiences were mesmerized by her Sieglinde, her Elsa, her Elizabeth. Critics praised the warmth of her timbre, the honesty of her acting, the way she could make mythic characters feel human and immediate. Despite her success, Margaret remained grounded. She was known for her kindness backstage, her generosity toward young singers, and her meticulous devotion to her craft. She practiced tirelessly, believing that a great voice was not a gift to possess but a responsibility to honor. She avoided the glamour of celebrity, preferring quiet evenings with close friends, long walks, and hours spent reading poetry and scores. In her later years, she began mentoring young artists, helping them navigate the pressures of performance and the delicate balance of emotion and technique. Students adored her, not just for her expertise, but for her empathy. Nadiya Sabeh was a Syrian-born American psychologist, professor, and leading expert in trauma and cross-cultural mental health whose life became a bridge between worlds, between science and empathy, between the experiences of refugees and the systems meant to support them, between the past she carried and the future she worked to shape. She was born in Damascus into a family that encouraged curiosity and conversation. Her father was a school teacher, her mother a nurse, two people who believed deeply in service. In their home, education was not just a path to success, but a responsibility. Nadiya grew up hearing stories of her parents' patients and students, of people navigating hardship yet holding on to dignity. Those stories shaped her early understanding of human resilience. As a child, she was remarkably observant. While other children were drawn to noise and excitement, Nadiya was drawn to people, especially those who seemed overlooked. A classmate who sat alone, a neighbor who spoke quietly, a relative who carried unspoken sadness. She noticed them all. Her mother would gently laugh and say, "Nadiya doesn't just look, she sees." During her teenage years, Syria itself was changing. Social shifts, political uncertainties, and growing tensions influenced everyday life. These experiences gave Nadiya a first-hand understanding of how instability affects communities and individuals. She became fascinated by what shaped a person's inner world, what made some people break while others endured. This fascination soon blossomed into a calling. After finishing secondary school, she studied psychology at a university in Damascus, where her professors recognized her talent immediately. She had a sharp analytical mind, yet she approached every case with sensitivity and nuance. Her academic papers stood out for their depth, and her practicum supervisors often said she had the instinct of a seasoned clinician. Yet Nadiya felt her journey would lead her further. Determined to broaden her knowledge, she moved to the United States to pursue advanced studies, a decision that required both courage and sacrifice. The early months were difficult. She missed her family, her language, the familiar sounds of Damascus. But slowly she adapted. She found mentors who encouraged her, colleagues who became lifelong friends, and a sense of purpose that carried her through long nights of research and study. Her doctoral work focused on trauma, not in abstract theoretical terms, but in the way it lived inside the body and mind of real people. She explored how culture shapes healing, how identity influences coping mechanisms, and how migration impacts mental well-being. Her research became groundbreaking, cited widely in the fields of psychology and global mental health. When she became a professor, her classrooms were known for their warmth and depth. She asked students not only to learn diagnostic criteria, but to understand the human beings behind them. She created an environment where vulnerability was met with respect, where difficult questions were encouraged, and where every student felt they had something valuable to contribute. Many of her students would later say she changed the course of their careers, and sometimes their lives. Beyond the university, Nadiya worked tirelessly with community organizations, especially those serving immigrant and refugee families. She designed workshops for counselors who lacked cultural training. She created support networks for Syrian families struggling to adapt to life in new countries. She collaborated with international NGOs to develop mental health initiatives in conflict zones. Her approach was always the same: listen first, act second. She believed that healing began with understanding, and she carried that belief with her into every project. In academic circles, she became a respected authority, not only because of her knowledge but because of her humanity. She treated everyone with the same steady kindness, whether they were renowned researchers or people seeking help for the first time. She had a quiet strength, a calm presence, a way of making others feel safe in her company. Despite her demanding schedule, Nadiya cherished simple pleasures. She loved long walks, old poetry books, the smell of jasmine tea, and evenings spent cooking Syrian dishes for friends who had become family. She often said that the smallest rituals kept her grounded, reminded her of home, and refilled her energy so she could continue helping others. David Matalon was an American entertainment executive and producer, best known for his influential work in film and television during a transformative era in Hollywood. His career combined creative instinct with strong leadership, allowing him to shape projects, support emerging talent, and help bring memorable stories to the screen. He was born in Los Angeles, where the entertainment industry surrounded him from childhood. Yet unlike many who grew up near studios and sound stages, David did not enter the world of film. Because of glamour, he entered it. Because he was fascinated by the power of storytelling. As a boy, he loved observing how films were made, how scripts became scenes, and how ordinary people could create something that moved millions. That curiosity stayed with him for life. David studied film and business, a combination that would later define his approach to leadership. He understood the creative side deeply, but he also recognized the importance of structure, planning, and strategy, qualities that would eventually make him one of the most respected executives in the industry. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel. Many more stories await.